All right, good morning, everyone. It is time to jumpstart the week, and it is looking to be a fantastic week. We're wrapping up July. We're going to get August started up, and it's an exciting time. Lots of things going on. We've got schools being started up. We've got school being started up. We got school being started up. I think you guys got the gist here. August, we are getting ready to get into one of the heaviest months. And but before we do that, we have to wrap up the one that we're currently in. So we do have a special guest speaker with us today, and he is going to talk to us about some pretty cool things that can help any of our customers that are out there. Before we get to our special guest, which I'll introduce here in a little bit, we're going to go through a few of our reminder slides that we have out there. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start the call with the shout-outs this time. And at this particular point, I'm going to do the shout-outs. And the big one that I'm going to focus on is the willingness to recommend. And what I did, and this is through our latest update that came through the last day of business for us for the business office is July. And so our top 5 Midwest cellular stores are Southwest Plaza, leading the whole entire thing at 88.2%. That is a holy smokes, that's what awesome looks like. Danville, 87.7. You get the holy smokes things through there. Matson at 87. Ottawa, 86.1. And Elk Grove, rounding out the top 5 at 84%. That is amazing, you guys. So congratulations on that. You guys should have grins from here to here, and you guys should be proud of yourselves. And you guys are going to love those paychecks, I can tell you that much right now. And so congratulations. We actually have a ton of stores that are sitting at 70% and higher. I think at last count we were just a little over 30 of our 51 stores. We're chilling between the 70 and the obviously 88.2% mark. So you guys mean business. This is awesome. And I want to thank you guys for all of your focus. Now the next one that I have for you is we're going to call it a new category, but it isn't really a new category. We're just kind of looking at it a new way, and that is the percent protected. So we got a shout out happening here. Brent sent something out to all of upper management that showed who the top 3 were, and obviously the reporting is through July 24th, and those locations are Brooklyn Center at 82%, leading the way, so fantastic. Thank you so much. Hastings at 75%, and we have our St. Louis Park that's rounding it out at that 70%. And guys, I can't tell you enough how important this percent protected is as a seller and as a customer. We could probably sit and talk about this all morning, but we've talked about it a lot. You guys know how important it is, but here's the Captain Obvious thing right here. If these customers this time next year, our jobs are going to be really hard with all those customers coming in that are looking to trade in or trade up on that next program, and they got some nicks and some dings and some cuts and some bruises and just some straight up nasty stuff that they're going to try to turn in, and we can't take it in for them. They realize that they're stuck, and nobody told me about this, and nobody offered me that, and blah, blah, blah. You guys know the drill. For those of you who've been around for a while, they didn't offer it to me, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Protect yourself, and be sure to always offer some sort of protection for your customer, whether it is the basement of just insurance or if you're going to go for the premium top tier MDPP. Just get it done. Make sure your customer is aware of it. When that customer says, nah, I'm good, I don't need this stuff protected, a case should be good for me. You know what, that's when it's time to take your cards and you just show it to them. Boom, here you go. Look, I don't know how the way these rules are going to work when it's time for you to do this trade-in that you're looking to do, but that condition of that phone needs to pretty much look, my guess is it's going to have to look like that when it comes back in. You know at some point you're going to have an accident. It's not an if, it's a when. So why don't we just get this whole thing protected? And you guys just know the drill. So as a customer, you can certainly appreciate that. And as a seller, you're going to appreciate every single time one of your teammates adds this on, and then when you make sure that you get this taken care of. And the willingness to recommend part, they do go hand in hand. We talked to you guys a ton about that, but I think it's just time to say, look, if we don't put this on there, we're up for a world of hurt here in a little while when it's time to handle some of these next program installment plans. So just keep that in mind. And, you know, I was talking to a store the other day, and I tell you what, if I have a customer that's not going to take the any of the protected plans that I'd offer, I would go so far as to put that in the notes on the account. But keep in mind they do have 30 days. And, you know, I'm going to go ahead and notate the account that you've gone ahead and declined any type of protection. But go ahead and realize that you do have up to 30 days on that, just to be on the safe side there. And, sorry, I got distracted with the text. Let's see, what do I have next for you guys? My ATT. All right, Brent sent out a fantastic email helping everybody with what makes AT&T so important, what are the benefits to you, what are the benefits to the customer, and then he added this little tidbit at the bottom, the My AT&T Pro Tips. For those of you guys who are scratching your head and you're getting frustrated because your boss is like, hey, what in the world's going on, our attach rate is this, and you're like, but I'm doing it. Well, here you go. Here are the bullet points on when you do this, what is it that counts? And first of all, we all know that we just need to make it a habit to do this with our customers each and every time, no matter what they're coming in for. I'm making a point to talk to you guys about the things that's going to help make sure that the work that you're doing is not only a benefit for the customer, but what's in it for the salesperson. Well, we want to have a good attach rate, right? I want to talk about what's in it for you in regards to my attach rate. So I'm just going to read these bullet points off to you guys. If you guys have any additional questions on that, please get with your store manager. If you are the store manager and you have questions, get with your DM or get with your Rays. Very, 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 very excellent resources that are out there. So before a customer comes in, adds a line or does an upgrade, makes any type of change to their service, log into the My AT&T app to check for the eligibility, what kind of usage that they have, that type of thing. And you know, actually I'll get back to that point last. Then obviously you get in, you make any kind of changes to the account, and then you can say something like, now let's check your account from your phone and make sure that these changes went through properly. I know that you guys can see that all the changes went through properly on your screen, but at this point we're trying to educate our customers on how to use the My ATT app. Plus when you do that, you're getting some sort of credit for it. So the customers must log into the My ATT mobile app by midnight of the same day that they came in to do whatever that transaction was in order to receive the credit on your end, okay? So what I need for you guys to do is to get used to loading and then accessing this every time a customer walks in, no matter what they're coming in for, and just get used to setting this up and talking about it. This needs to be one of those knee-jerk things, just like when a customer comes in to do anything, you guys are always checking their voicemail. That's a knee-jerk thing. Voicemail well, My ATT is like the new voicemail. Only in this particular case, it's when voicemail is working, you know, because we're making sure that we're putting it on the customer's account. You could send a customer out without their Facebook going. You would never send a customer out without their email going. Same thing. Do not send a customer out without this on there. And then, of course, you've got your reminder because it's listed on your CEC forms to do this with every single sale. So you use the form as your guide so you don't forget to empower your customer with this and the other important apps. Some of you may be like, CEC forms, blah, blah, blah. It's a list. I do this stuff every day. I know what I'm doing. I don't need a list. Guess what? When I get on a plane, that pilot has been flying for 20 years, and I certainly appreciate every time he busts out his list and he makes sure that he covers everything on that list because I don't want to die today. So if you could just go ahead and check your list, I would certainly appreciate you doing that, Mr. Pilot. Same thing, only obviously death isn't involved here. But CEC, we're making sure that the most important device that a customer has in their hand and in their life has everything added onto it at their ease, and it makes for the wow presentation. All right. I think that's what I've got in regards to my ATT pro tips. I got to talking, and I forgot why I was going to go back up there to the before a customer adds a line. I'm sure I'll come back to it, and if I think of it before this gem calls up, then I will insert it in. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is more of a reminder. And you guys may remember this email that came out minus my little minion over there going, what? It's building your store culture to service the customers. And these are the manager comp coupons that you guys have out there. And the manager comp coupons are your guys' tool in creating a completely satisfied customer and wowing the experience for your customer. Now it's called a manager comp coupon. Of course, store managers, you have the absolute empowerment, free reign to use those in the way that you see fit. Your salespeople have access to those as well. Now, those of us in upper management have received some reports that show how many of these that you've used thus far, and how many of them you have left to use, how many of them you have in your stockpile. And surprisingly, there's some stores out there that have got a stockpile. I don't know what you're waiting for. This isn't a savings account. Please blow that money, because we want you guys to utilize that to absolutely make sure that the customer is taken care of before they hit the door. So this is one of those empowerment tools you guys have been asking for. What can I do? You know, you guys have basically been asking for some money to help with certain scenarios out there in the store. Now, I'm going to hit this next thing, because what I do want to do, and I'm going to unlock everything and make it so that people can tell me what they're doing with these coupons. But what I want to do is I want to talk to you about how I've seen them utilized so far. Because the idea behind it is not to stockpile them. The idea truly is to utilize them to make the experience better. So I've got 3 different scenarios that I can give to you guys where the coupons were used and it wowed the customer. And then I'm going to unlock it, and you guys can give me some of the ways that you guys have utilized it. And I want this to be considered best practices. We want you guys to use this. We've already seen the correlation between a store that is using their coupons and their WTR score. The correlation is there. So a high amount of those coupons being used, we have a higher WTR score. If you're hoarding money over here and you got this nice little savings account, but your WTR is low, time to start spending your money. Excuse me. So the first one I've got is I was in a location where I saw a customer wanted to get an S4 active. They came in, they specifically asked for it. We have it on our wall. Here's this S4 active. Here's how much it is on the installment plan. Sweet. The store went to go check their safe. They didn't have it. The store called around to some of the other locations. Don't have it. Got a hold of the business office to see if there's any of them out there. Nope, don't have it. Now it's time to have that whole awkward conversation with the customer of, see, well, what happened was we don't have it anymore, because it's not available as a direct fulfill thing anymore either. So the customer, of course, was a little disheartened by the whole thing. So the staff, rather than roll over and just die on this, they went ahead and they said, you know what, let's show the S5. And I'll be honest with you, I can't remember if they did the S5 or the S5 active, but I do remember that the difference of the installment plan was about $1 or $2 higher on that S5, whether it was the S5 regular or just the S5 active. And the customer was just like, I don't know how I feel about that, because it came in for this, it's on your wall, it's this, that, and the other, and tell us why we would spend more money. So they went into all the differences between the 2 devices, and then finally the customer was like, okay, fine. And what we did is we jumped in, and because the difference was per phone $1 or $2 on the installment plan, we were able to give each customer a $20 manager comp coupon, and basically that $20 was going to offset that $1 or $2 that they were going to have on their installment plan for the entire time. And the customer was super stoked about that. They were like, okay, and deal, sign me up, love it. And boom, it was a great experience for that customer. And they came in for an S4 active and they left with an S5 something, and it essentially ended up being the same price. Consider them wowed. It was awesome. High five to that team there. Had another scenario where a customer was having a bad experience. We have Apple stores all over the place up here in Minnesota. It seems like they grow on trees up here. So a customer was having a bad experience at Apple, and they were really being sent back and forth between a store, like any AT&T store. You know, so AT&T is like, you got to go to Apple. Apple said, you got to go to AT&T. It's like a back and forth thing, and it all ended up being over a SIM card. So they pop into one of my locations, and that dreaded SIM card change, right? Well, it turns out that a SIM card is actually what needed to be changed. And we knew that when we went to go change that SIM card that it was going to trigger a survey, and this customer's been back and forth, and they were just one big block of salt. They were just not happy. So it was, you know, smoothing things over. You know, it just, how has AT&T done for you? What else can we do? You know, how's everything in your life? Let's get to know something about you personally, blah, 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 blah. And then it was, you know, the light bulb goes off. It's like, oh, why don't we use one of these manager comp coupons? How can we utilize this in some way, shape, or form? So that it was utilized, hey, what else do you need for your phone? It's a new phone. What kind of things do you need for it? They said they were going to need this, that, or the other, but they were going to get it from the Apple store. Oh, no. Wait. Get it here. We can offer you this much off of it. Boom, there you go. Happy customer. And it's because we were able to utilize that manager comp coupon. Last one that I'm going to give you guys as a coupon best practice, and then I'm going to open it up for about 5 minutes for you guys to tell me how you guys used it, was we had a customer that came into a location, and they came in just for a new phone, okay? But the salesperson did such a fantastic job, which, by the way, there was some team selling that happened. It was actually one of our Rays that jumped in and was tag teaming with this salesperson, and it was actually out of our Savage location, where the customer came in for a new iPhone, but they ended up getting an iPhone, they ended up getting an iPad, they got chargers for both, and then they decided they were going to go ahead and get a tablet case, and the guy was eyeballing a LifeProof pretty hard. He wanted that, he wanted it so bad, but his hesitation was on the price. He came in for this, and he was already just a boatload of stuff sitting over there. So he's just like, you know what, I'm going to come back later when I have some cash, and I'll pick that up then. Well, it was just a matter of just swinging in and reminding a salesperson that we have these manager comp coupons. And, you know, with everything that this person's doing, obviously there's a lot of benefits sitting on the table already and why this customer is happy, but let's just go ahead and put the whipped cream and the cherry on top. Say, go ahead and get that case. We'll give you X amount off of it. And the customer was like, and I'm sold. Boom, I got what I wanted. And everything was good to go there. Happy customer. So there you go. There are 3 different ways in which it was used. Phone pricing, a SIM card snafu, and a thank you for buying a mountain full of stuff. Let me give you a little bit of a discount here. So just different ways it can be used. And in each and every single one of those scenarios, it was a salesperson who used it, and the store manager was just like, go for it. And that is what it is used for. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock you guys, and I want some kind of additional feedback on how else you guys are using these coupons, and if anything goes here. So let me see if I can figure this out.
All participants are now in interactive talk mode.
I believe that means you guys can talk.
This is Klashonda Richdale. The way I actually use it is with, we get a lot of customers who come in with the accessory discounts for corporate stores. So having that, those coupons helps a lot when they're looking for a case, but they want to get their 20% or 40% discount through the corporate, their IRU. So that helped in a way for a few of our customers.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, you guys see those where they come in and they go, I get so much off. Go for it. Use that. Good job. What else do we have out there?
This is Chris up in Wisconsin. Good morning.
Good morning, Wisconsin.
We've had a lot of success with customers who say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and just buy that online. I think I can get it cheaper. And you offer them even a $5 coupon. That means they don't have to deal with the hassle of getting online and getting a product that they don't know if it's actually going to get to them or if it is what they say it is. So a lot of customers appreciate that, getting that little bit of discount and then getting their accessories today. And it definitely helps boost our APC.
No, that's awesome. So you got those. You guys get a lot of that. Customers coming in and saying, I can get it cheaper here or there. So it's a fantastic way to utilize it. Let's just do it now. You know what it looks like. You know it's going to fit. I'm going to put it on for you. It's warranted right here. Let me give you a discount that's going to beat the internet. So that's fantastic, Chris. Thank you.
Hi, Daphne. It's Ebony from St. Louis Park.
Good morning.
Good morning. We had a customer who came in the other day, wanted to return her Power Rock because she thought it wouldn't work for her iPhone, and all she needed was an extra cable. So to help her out, we gave her a discount on the cables since she had already bought the Power Rock.
Boom. Very nice. Very nice. 1 + 1 equals a whole lot of happy right there, doesn't it? What else do we have out there?
Derek in BKC.
Hey.
Hey. We had a customer that actually had to come over from another location to pick up a phone, and she didn't seem all too thrilled about that, but after we gave her a little bit of a discount to help cover some of that gas money, she was very happy and gave everybody hugs on the way out.
What a fantastic idea. Good job. Good job. What else do we have out there? Silence? We done best practicing?
This is Ryan in Chippewa Falls. I've used it to help drive tablet sales rather than just telling them it's sales tax or how to look this for free today for a tablet on the next program.
Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. And that's probably going over like gangbusters, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to do one last call, and then I'm shutting everybody down, and I'm bringing on a guest speaker. So do I have any more best practices out there?
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
This is Desney from DeKalb. I actually used the coupon. How are you? I used the coupon last week. There's a customer who came in, and she has to check her bank to see if she even had enough money to purchase her phone and to get some accessories. So what I did was use the $10 coupon off so she can be able to have a case for her phone.
Aw, I bet she appreciated that, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
She probably was not expecting that whatsoever. That is awesome. That is fantastic. All right, that is a good way to wrap up some best practices. I'm shutting you guys down. Watch this. Boom.
All participants are now in listen-only mode.
All right, so now I'm going to bring on a guest speaker. This guy is our one of our Rays in Chicago. His name is Nick Reimeri. He looks nothing like that. Well, maybe the hair just a little bit. I don't know, Nick, if you're rocking some bibs or anything like that, but no, not so much. But I'm totally loving the picture. And Nick's going to come on and he's going to talk to us about some smart watches that are out there, some wearables, pretty much all the fun stuff. So, Nick, let me go ahead and I present you with rights.
I knight you with rights. What page are we on right now? It doesn't show me what page we're on. 7? Yep. Okay, cool. So I was waiting for someone to say, like, oh, I saved someone's life with a coupon. I had a girl come in and said she'd die if she didn't have her iPhone, but I helped her out and I gave her a coupon if she lived. But anyway, guys, thanks for having me on to talk about wearables and GPS tech. We're still sort of at the cusp here of wearables and just the whole technology on your arm. At this point right now, a lot of people are sort of considering it sort of like tablets were. When tablets launched, everyone considered it a fad. And I was just talking about this in one of my stories the other day. Do you remember netbooks? I mean, netbooks that was supposed to be like the next thing, right? Netbooks were going to be huge. And, oh, you can, it's hard to hear. Daphne, can you hear me okay? People are saying it's hard to hear.
Yeah, you're doing good.
All right. So, netbooks, though, were the thing. They were going to be the it thing, and nothing was going to beat it, and everyone said it's going to cannibalize real laptop sales and it's going to destroy laptop sales for the rest of our lives, and look what happened. Netbooks pretty much plateaued in 1 year and went nuts to the point where AT&T was like, hey, we should sell these. And they plateaued. We didn't really sell many, and tablets came, right? The invention of the iPad. The iPad came out, and that was the first real foray into tablets, and it was huge. And after that, it all changed. So we're sort of at that same point right now with wearables. Wearables are at that point right now where someone's looking to be that iPad. And we've had some come out. There's been one called like the Pebble. The Pebble was pretty big, especially amongst like watch nerds, people who love wearing watches. But nothing's really hit that spot that other than being a niche. So what we have here is the Android Wear that just got announced in June by Google. And what Android Wear is a specific specific iOS. That's a complete contradiction. It was a specific launch of technology that it is an OS specifically for wearables completely. So the way this works is rather than like a Samsung Galaxy Gear or a Gear Fit, both unique devices, both of them have to be made by Samsung from the ground up with their own OS. This is actual OS that Android has built from the ground up with a special team internally to be specifically for wearing on your wrist. And I think you guys will be very pleased with the results. A couple of them, or I should say one of them is out, another one you'll be seeing soon, and another one has this cloud of mystery over it. So let's go ahead and start here. So the first one, all right, the first one I'm going to put up first is because, man, does it look awesome. The Moto 360. It is from, obviously, Motorola, and it looks amazing. I can tell you I've been to the headquarters, downtown Chicago, where they are making this and designing it. I got to meet the entire team. I got to meet the head designer and all that, and it was awesome. I got to wear one and play with it. It is hands down. I'll tell you this much. I pre-ordered mine that day. Literally went online, done, pre-ordered it. So the things that this is really unique for, number one, design and build quality. Anyone who has tried on a Galaxy Gear or a Gear Fit or a G Watch, they're nice devices, right? They feel good, they're nice devices. But maybe they don't fit you the way they want you to, or the one that I really liked was the Gear Fit, right? It fits nice, it's not in the way, it's not too big. The other ones I was like, I'm not really digging the build and the way it feels on my wrist. The Moto 360 is gorgeous. It feels amazing on your wrist. It's not heavy. It looks like it might be big, but it's really not that big. And the build quality is hands down the best I've felt or seen in a watch. It really feels like a very, very nice watch. The second thing to let you guys know about is the choices. So you can see here we have two bands that are available for choice. You can have a metal or a leather band. They actually had a mesh one that I tried on. I don't know if that's going to come to launch. They had a mesh one, and they also had it was weird. It was like a leather hybrid of some sort. It was pretty. It was sort of just like a cool leather band. So hopefully we'll see all of those come out. This is custom tech. So this isn't like, so if you look at a G-Watch, or if you look at the Samsung Gear Live or a Galaxy Gear, it's built just with sort of off-the-shelf parts, right? So watch parts. The Moto 360 from ground to the glass in the front is 100% custom technology. It is the only one that's using an OLED screen, which is huge. So that for battery life, that's huge. It's very similar to the Moto X. But everything in it had to be custom to make it round. And when I was talking to the designer, he said, like, bar none, they wanted it round. Every other one has been square so far, but when you look at all the classic watches that people wear, they're round, and they wanted a round device. But that also meant they literally had to custom fabricate all the things that were going to go into the watch. There has been one review for the watch so far. The first person who got the review, 10 out of 10. And then other people have reviewed just testing out and stuff like that, saying, man, if nothing changes, it's perfect. They're saying it's perfect. So What is Android Wear, though? Google Now, right? So all the ones I want to show you today, one of their big key features is Google Now and how well it works with that voice service. So this one uses Google Now, believe it or not. And lastly, the price. So when I pre-ordered mine, it said $250. Now, we're hearing that maybe it's not going to be $250. So it might be $299. Other people have said it's going to be $500. I don't think it's going to be $500. That would literally, I would lose all my hair. I don't think it's going to be $500. So I think you'll probably see somewhere between $249 to $299. But just know that this is a premium piece of technology. This is Apple build quality, right? Apple's known for their build quality. This is Apple-like build quality. So it's very, very, very nice. Then we have the LG G Watch. So the LG G Watch is your square device, right? It's your square device, but it's still running Android Wear. And the really nice things about the G Watch is, A, it pairs with the G3 beautifully, and the G3 is a monster of a phone, right? So I'm hopefully you guys are still on a ton of those. It has good build quality to it, too. It does feel nice. It's a solid watch. It is really, really, really affordable at $230, and then we have special promos where you might be able to get it when you buy it with the phone. So G Watch, there's not too much more to add. I already covered a lot of what Android Wear is. So the G Watch is nice. It feels good. The only thing, the only complaint that people have said so far is that the battery life is just so on that. And that's what you're going to find, just so you guys know. You're going to find that with these first devices where I don't think battery life is going to be as good as you're going to want it to be. That's one more thing to add to Motorola. It has an ambient light sensor, too. So the G Watch doesn't have an ambient light sensor, and neither does the Samsung. So one place that the other is differentiate from the other. So you have to you can manually adjust brightness on it. So that's the LG G Watch. And then lastly, we have the Samsung Live. So the Samsung Gear Live is their version of Android Wear. And really what it comes down to here, build quality again. It feels really nice. Affordability, right? It's only $199. It's running Google Now. And I've been told that this one is really, really good with the Google Now recognition. So it does a very good job of recognizing your voice in Google Now on your wrist. And then let's just say it. Samsung is become Apple of Android, right? They are the most recognizable name when it comes to phones. Everyone knows. Samsung set out to do the walk in, I want an S5. I want an S whatever. That's what they wanted, and that's what they got. So when you bring up the fact that Samsung also made a smart watch and it uses Android Wear, people are going to be interested, right? So make sure you guys, with any of these are all still niche products, right? They're cool. They're cool, but they're not necessity. They're like a lot of things that we sell. What I would do with all of these right now is just a simple, hey, have you guys heard about Android Wear yet? Have you seen the stuff that's coming out with Android Wear? And just show it to them. Is everyone going to get one? No, not at all. It's very, very early in this game. So just bring them up to people, let them know what they can do, and just show them some of the Google Now features. I mean, once I started using Google Now, it was over. I use Google Now for everything that I do in my day. I organize my calendar with it, and it constantly is telling me what time I need to leave to get here and what time I'm placed. So what better place to have that than on your wrist and on your watch? So, and lastly, Apple. What's Apple going to do? No clue. So there is a lot of buzz around what is Apple going to announce this year? What are they going to do with wearables? Are they going to sit back and let other people do it? I wouldn't think so. I'm not 100% sold on the fact that they're going to announce anything this year. I do think that they're working on one, and this is my personal opinion. But I do think they're working on one. It's too strange that they poached a guy from so Nike Fuel Band is pretty much dead. They're not developing any more Fuel Bands. And they're still going to work on the software, but they poached the head guy who made the Fuel Band. They stole him, so he now works for Apple. And then they've also acquired a couple other really key people from other companies that were doing wearable technology. So I think if everything points to being fire, there's probably a fire. So it sounds like they're probably going to be doing something. I just don't know how soon it's going to be. But we'll surely see something from Apple in the wearable technology front. And I'm sure once it's like this with everything. I always make a joke. If Apple does it, it suddenly exists to consumers. Suddenly exists to consumers, right? So like right now, NFC and ISIS, the big thing. Well, until Apple really does NFC in their iPhone, which they're going to do in the next iPhone, it's going to be, oh my God, Apple invented NFC. I get it now. Now I understand how to use it. So once Apple does wearables, hold on, because then it's gonna take off from there. Let's talk about some of these products that you probably don't talk too much about, but they're pretty unique. So these are GPS wearables, and I'll tell you, when I first heard about them, I thought, yeah, it's sort of weird. But then when I really started to learn about them and read about them and take the training on them, I thought, wow, it's actually a really cool idea, especially for kids. So most kids want iPhones, smartphones, stuff like that, but maybe you don't want to buy your kid an iPhone yet because he's 8 years old and he shouldn't have one. Well, that's where the Flip comes in. So the Flip is really cool in the fact that it's a phone, right? But it goes in your wrist. It looks like a wearable, but it's actually GPS trackable. So what it is it's something you put on your kid's wrist. They wear it as a watch, and it's really, really, really easy to use. Program 5 numbers into it. It's one touch. It has an awesome look to it. It's fun for the kids. So it's not, something that's going to be weird and creepy. It's like, it's not like an ankle bracelet or something like that. Someone gets out of prison, but it's something that doesn't look obtrusive on their wrist. And there's a couple of really neat features that this thing has. So one, it has an easy setup companion that you can download onto your phone, which is pretty neat. So you can download an app. You can set up the device from the app and change things on the app as a parent. You can keep track of all the things that are in there. You can program your numbers in there. One of the things I really liked about this, though, from a purely a safety standpoint, is after you have kids, you live the rest of your life terrified that anything's going to happen to them, right? So it's just the world we live in. But the thing that this has that I really like is an emergency button. So there's a button. You can see a little red button off to the left-hand side of it. And when they press and hold that button, it sends a beacon out to every phone that has the app downloaded and registered to, so probably the parents, right, or loved ones. It sends out calls and SMS alerts to everyone that can immediately get it. And then it starts recording ambient sound, which is just awesome. So if something, God forbid, were to happen to a child, he can press that, or he or she can press that emergency button. It'll start recording ambient sound. So hopefully you can keep track of everything like that. So I think that's a really, really useful thing to tell parents to make them feel safe. And let's face it, guys, this is something that's really easy to sell to. Hey, I have a 6-year-old, I have a 7-year-old. I don't want to get him a phone yet. Have you heard about the Philippe? It's a really, really, really neat device. And then a second device is sort of similar to that, but not as robust in terms of usage, is the Amber Alert. Now, the Amber Alert has one feature. We all know what an Amber Alert means. An Amber Alert is from when someone gets kidnapped or taken. And an Amber Alert is a little different in the fact that it really would go in your pocket or hidden somewhere. But it has an app companion, the same as the Philippe. It does location, obviously, very, very well. It has an SOS button that will send calls and alerts. It can make one call to one number, and it also has a school-ready mode. That's actually something I mentioned about the Philippe, too, is both of them have school modes, so that if you don't want your child receiving calls from, I don't know, let's say grandma, right? One of the numbers in there is grandma, and grandma's like, oh, I'm going to call Billy, and he's in school, but I don't care. So, and that's what grandma sounds like. But you can make it so it doesn't do that during certain times of the day. So, hey, my kid's in school, grandma, leave him alone. All right, I love you, but please stop calling him while he's in math class. You can do that on both of these, which is nice. But the Amber Alert's a little more basic in terms of features, but not basic in terms of the way it works. It's the same thing. It syncs up to every GPS satellite in the sky. The app companion works the same. It has an SOS button. It can do a call to one person. It can do the same alert mode, and it has a school-ready mode. So that is the GPS and wearables. Let's go ahead and open it up to any questions you guys have about Android Wear or about GPS and wearables. Does anyone have any
All
questions?
participants are now in interactive talk mode.
Well timed. That'd be the first time in my life no one has a question.
Well, Nick, when you're good, right?
I guess. Yeah. No questions? Final offer? All right. Well,
I have a question.
Daphne, yay.
Yay. How about sizes on these devices? Are they all going to be the same size, or are there going to be some smaller for women and larger for men?
That's a good question. So the bad news is it's one size, right? They have not. That's another thing that who's going to cater to both female and male. And right now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to take a happy medium approach. So, I don't know if you've seen the G-Watch in person, but the G-Watch is certainly not bulky at all, and the Gear Live is certainly not bulky at all. I'll leave it up to your judgment of what's too big for you on the Moto 360. The Moto 360 for me was not too big, but no. To answer, long story short, unfortunately, no, not yet. It's one of those things, and that was one of the things that I brought up to the Motorola team of, hey, are you guys going to do a smaller one for women? Because obviously when you look at like a Movado or something like that, they have the larger face for the typically bigger male wrist, and they have the smaller face for the smaller female wrist. So not yet. If I were making it, I'd probably make it. I'd make a both version. Anyone else have any questions? Seems like we're good to go, Daphne. So with that being said, thanks for having me on to let me talk about this stuff. If you guys have any questions, you can always email me. But I'm going to pass it back over to Daphne.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I want all of you guys to have a great week. We have a few days left in July, so make sure that you wrap it up nice and pretty. Give the best experience you can possibly give to each and every single one of our customers. Spend those manager comp coupons, make it work to your advantage, and I would hop onto my CSP. I would get into anything where you can do a little bit of research on some of these wearables that are out there. They're a ton of fun. There's a super cool factor to it. And thanks again, Nick, for coming on and talking about it. And with that, I'm going to send you guys out. Have a great week. Bye.
We're sorry. Your conference is ending now. Please hang up.